All right. So, kind of, we have started the discussion, or let's say we have started to understand. We have tried to. We are trying to understand mainly the two problems: the origin of consciousness and the nature of consciousness. And in that process, as we have started to really investigate and really find out the reason, or let's say the origin of consciousness. And in that process we have started from the brain, which seems to be the place which is at least visible from the modern and contemporary research on neuroscience. And it seems that, not it seems, it is very much confirmed that it is the brain, or it is the neural activity which seems to be very much correlated with the inherent conscious attribute. So for example, let's put it in this way. For example, we have a think like feelings, and let's say we have feelings, or let's say different class of feelings for that matter. And then we have a cognitive capability to, which means that able to recognize or able to kind of extract the knowledge, or let's say, yeah, the kind of intellectual content of anything that we see, right? What we call it is a cognitive capability, right? The ability to analyze the things, and ability to understand the things. So which means that all the detailed concept, behavior, everything. And then not just all those, not just the feelings and the cognition, more than that, we are also aware of all those things. So awareness, or the self awareness, particularly more sophisticated concept of awareness, is the what we have discussed about, what we are calling it as a nature of consciousness. Now, like with these attributes, right, able to identify something, or the cognitive capabilities, or the feelings of the happiness, or the feelings of different sort of emotions, right? Now, kind of with these attributes, we have tried to figure out the origin of consciousness. From where does the origin, like consciousness, arise, right? And in that process, essentially, it boils down to the two problem: whether consciousness is an emergent, phenomena, or it is an original phenomenon, right? So if it is an original phenomena, then there is no point of asking the questions from where it originates, because it itself is an origin, right? So which means that there is no such something like called origin, and therefore which exists in eternity, as we have discussed, which exists in eternity, right? So that's the whole point. And therefore we have started with the brain, and then tracing back with the cause and effect principle, then we have landed up at the place called energy. And then we do not have much understanding about the energy, at least I don't have much understanding about what exactly the energy is, right, apart from whatever we have studied in our basic physics and all those things. So but the one of the principle which we are tightly holding is the conservation, right? The principle of conservation of energy, which indicates, I believe it also indicates the existence of energy in eternity, which means that energy is something which exists kind of since time immemorial, right? And that is the things, right? And so therefore our question is whether energy is an origin of consciousness, or is it the consciousness has arisen from the energy. Now, if it has consciousness has arisen from the energy, let for the time being, considered in this way, then definitely we should look for how does the energy gives rise to awareness, how does the energy gives rise to, and what are the stages of evolution for that matter. If we are really kind of trying to understand that the energy can gives rise to consciousness, so that is another thing. Another interesting aspect is the structure and the form. So how does the structure and the forms came, or let's say could arise from the energy. And when you talk about the energy, so we have to also understand what is the initial state or the initial condition of the energy we are talking about. So is there any activity inherently there, or is it the activity also are some sort of eternal, right? And then definitely the question comes, if activities are sort of eternal, so are they also systematic, right? Or is it that kind of the consciousness is arising in every now and then, right? It is nothing like that at one point of time it has started arising and then it is evolving, or is it that it is a continuous process, right? So this is the another question that definitely we need to understand. But at least for the today's discussion, we have kind of our random thought discussion that we would like to discuss here is that about the little bit about the nature and the nature of consciousness from the perspective of Vedic scripture. Like what does the Vedic scripture tells us about the nature of consciousness, right? So if we really kind of look at the way the Vedic literature, and here when we talk about the Vedic literature, at least for this discussion, we would refer the Bhagavad Gita, where the Krishna, the author or the speaker of the Bhagavad Gita, who has revealed the different knowledge, has given a very clarity on this consciousness, right? Or it's a different aspect of the consciousness. So when the Bhagavad Gita talks about the consciousness, it gives the analogy of the energy and the energetic. So in a sense, very similar to the sun and the sunlight, right? They are, the sun and the sunlight are very much they are fundamentally coupled, right? So the fundamentally coupled, which means that wherever there is an light, so there must be sun, and wherever there is a sun, there must be sunlight. It is the inherent fundamental property, whatever we call, right? And this consciousness, as far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned, is the inherent quality, or let's say inherent quality of a living entity, which we call it as a spiriton or the soul, right? So that's where is the thing. So which means that soul and the consciousness are eternally existing. So this is what is the concept of Bhagavad Gita tells us about. So which means that the soul and the consciousness are fundamentally different from whatever we call it is a matter or the material energy, right? So therefore Bhagavad Gita also and the Vedic literature also clearly distinguishes between the life and the matter. So when you talk about the life, it is with consciousness, it is with active consciousness. And when you talk about the matter, it is without any consciousness, right? So therefore, when you talk about the matter, so therefore with it also refers to the material energy, and the Vedic literature also talks about the spiritual energy, right? So therefore, whenever we last time we discussed about the origin of consciousness, where we have where we stop, which is like understanding about whether the energy is the origin of consciousness. So now we must clearly understand these two questions: whether the material energy is, can the material energy gives rise to the whatever we call it as a spiritual or the spirit, the consciousness which is associated with the spiritum, right? Or is it that there could be multiple varieties of energy, and when one of the energy is the spiritual energy and another energy is the material energy, right? So now we have to, there also we need to understand, or we need to discuss further whether both kind of energy, the spiritual energy as well as the material energy, can have the eternal existence, right? So this is another question. Or is it that the material energy is a kind of emergent property of the spiritual energy, which means that is it that the spiritual energy is giving rise to the material energy and thereby giving rise to the matter, right? Is it how the things are happening? So definitely what we need to kind of figure out in order to confirm, or in order to verify all those things, is one is we need to set up an experiment, whether the experiment could be the physical experiment or it could be the thought experiment. However, it should verify this underlying understanding, right? So how, like, but one point we need to understand is that in the spiritual tradition, the process of verification of whatever the knowledge has been revealed in the Vedic scripture, or whatever the knowledge has been revealed by what we call it is a supreme intelligent being, is the process of spiritual practice through which one can verify all this concept, right? However, what we are talking about here is how do we possibly be able to verify with the modern scientific kind of verification process, the modern scientific method. So that is what is our kind of like our point of kind of driving this discussion or driving this investigation is, right? So this is what we wanted to bring in. So therefore the concept that the two new concept that we have introduced here from the Vedic literature is what one is the concept of spiritum or the living entity, which possesses a fundamental, eternal quality of consciousness. And so, and another is that the introduction of the two different kind of energy as far as Vedic literature is concerned. One is the spiritual energy and another is the material energy. And the question that we ask here is that whether both these kind of energy are eternal, or is it that the material energy is the emergent property of the spiritual energy, or is it that the spiritual energy is an emergent property of the material energy, right? So this is the question that we need to ask. Or other way around, we could also say that whether whether the life has come from matter or the matter has come from the life, right? So this is another way to ask the question, but that domain may take us to the biological understanding of the life, but we wanted to restrict ourselves within the domain of the consciousness and the related concept. So therefore we will discuss it further. What Now, how to answer these questions, right? Yeah.